Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ron Wallace with Ballin' Down South, and here's another episode of the interview. I have with me today a new head coach at Foley High School boys varsity basketball. I got Coach Jared Gilliland. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Ron?
Doing pretty good, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Haven't been over there to Daphne. You know, this pandemic has got us all in, but congratulations on the new job that you got over there at Foley High School. How does it feel?
Thank you. It feels great. It's a little different than normal. I wish I was, there every day meeting players and meeting people, but I'm kind of having to do it remotely with the unique situation that we have. But I'm excited and ready to get started for sure.
Well, before we talk about the Foley deal, Coach, just give the people a little background of, when you started coaching all the way up until now.
Yeah, I started at Daphne. I kind of just came in as a new teacher, wanting to coach and kind of get my foot in the door. And so I started at the middle school, had some decent success there for a couple of years, and then got a chance to move up and kind of be coach's assistant for a year. And then he allowed me to take over the JV program. I've done that for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's been an awesome experience. Coach Sid he's not just a Hall of Fame coach and Hall of Fame player. Everyone around here kind of knows who he is and what he's about, but he's just a great man. And so that's really the best thing I think about my experience at Daphne and with Cedric is just, he's a father figure to everybody he kind of comes into contact with. And so I think making people number one is kind of what, fueled the fire for me to continue to chase the coaching dream, because that's something that kind of personally is a drive for myself is to try to impact the people around me. So yeah, it was awesome.
Well, I know being over at Daphne, you was the head coach of the JV team, and you was assistant coach on the varsity boys team. Being able to coach, those guys at the JV level, knowing their next step would be the varsity level. How was it, trying to teach those guys to get them ready? You could say, play with the big boys.
Oh yeah, it's always a new challenge, which kind of keeps it fresh for me. It's always trying to figure out, okay, where are these players right now, and then where do they need to be in the next year or two, or maybe even mid-season. Because sometimes you never know what varsity is going to bring. Player-wise, we may have to bring JV guys up, mid to late season. So every day you're trying to get 1%, 2%, whatever you can do to get better every day. You're trying to maximize your time with those guys, and especially for young guys, you're trying to build relationships. You're trying to continue to teach them how to be better young men, because when you get to the varsity level, when you're doing interviews, you're meeting college coaches, you're playing in bigger arenas, and there's more fans. Your character can get tested, and so training those things is kind of important, an important part of the player development aspect as well. So yeah, it was always fun, cool to work with Coach Sid. He gave me, I think a good balance of freedom to kind of explore my own coaching philosophy and skills, as well as doing exactly what they needed to do to be ready to play for him.
How did this opportunity for you to be the head basketball coach over at Foley for the boys basketball come about? Did it just fall in your lap? Did they reach out to you? The job was open. How did that all come about?
Yeah, I think probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I really started making an extra push. I felt like God was kind of calling me to be a head basketball coach at the varsity level, and so I kind of was a little more aggressive with Coach Sid, kind of asking him to give me some advice and kind of prepare me for that next step. And so, the job just became available, and I applied for it. And I got the interview, and they gave me a call back. And so, it's been something I've been trying to prepare for a while, just to continue to push and be better at what it is I feel like I'm called to do.
So how were your peers other than Coach Yeldon, the kids and everybody back at Daphne know that you were leaving? How were they receptive to it? Were they congratulating you and stuff of that? And they just speak on that for us.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a bittersweet response. I think most of my colleagues have been very polite and congratulatory. Congratulations, happy for me. But from what I've heard, whether it's true or not, they hate that I'm leaving. They're going to miss me, and so they've been super nice about the whole transitioning process. Even Mr. Comer, the principal, When I called and told him, he was excited for me. So he was excited just like a friend would be. And so those relationships are always going to be important to me. And I look forward to building those new relationships at Foley as well. In terms of the players, whether it be the softball girls and the basketball guys, the older ones, they kind of understood a little more. They were excited and congratulatory. They, Coach, I understand. I'm glad you're moving up. And but the younger ones were like, oh man, Coach, I hate that you're leaving. Like we kind of just got started. With some of those freshmen. I had a lot of freshman guys on my JV team, and so I was just getting started with them. So it's definitely bittersweet in terms of when I had to deliver the news. But they were all excited and congratulatory. Only a couple were super aggressive and said, "Oh, I can't wait to play you, Coach. I can't wait to see you on the court." So so most everybody was super happy for me, and that was awesome to hear and to be a part of.
Well, now you got the Foley job. What's the first thing you're planning on doing? To start a new program over there at Foley.
Yeah, I think the first thing is just to kind of establish relationships. Really, I've been meeting with the coaches that are a part of the program already. I've been trying to kind of keep in touch with administration, things like that. So now that I'm board approved and it's kind of official, I'll be able to kind of meet with my players, whether it be Google Meet or on the phone, and just kind of get to know them. I think that two things that I want to focus on in terms of what we need to do right now is we need to have great leadership and great culture. And that's not to say that they don't have those things, but I just think that those things are going to be a foundation to what we do. And in my mind, those are kind of your cheat code to help you be successful in the long run. And I mentioned it earlier. Coach Gilliland, he's a people person. He built good relationships, and that's the thing that it's hard to put on paper that he does and that he did and that he will continue to do as a coach and as a leader wherever he's led to go. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is for me to just establish relationships, try to build some leadership habits, culture, build a good environment in terms of, the way that we carry ourselves and the way that we treat each other. So those are kind of my two focal points right now moving forward.
Well, looking at their current roster from the past, some seniors moved on. Looking at, do you have an older crowd that you're going to be dealing with, or currently everybody starting from scratch? They got to try out with the team just like everybody else. It'll be a clean slate, for all student athletes that want to try out for the basketball team for the Varsity boys.
Yeah, I think we're kind of starting from scratch, especially me. The other coaches that are there. They kind of have, a little more experience. They have relationships already, so they'll be able to kind of give me some insight on who can do what and what everybody's strengths and weaknesses are. So I'll definitely be utilizing a lot of those, people as we move forward. But especially with the pandemic, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. We're going to have to kind of play it by ear for real because we'll be hearing kind of our more specific stipulations on what we can do in June and in the summer coming up after this meeting. In a week or two, and so then I'll know more in terms of can we have a tryout, or is it going to have to be more of a we just work through the summer and then do that in the fall. So those are things that I'm still kind of planning right now and trying to work out, and just I want to make sure I do what's best for the people that are involved because I know that a lot of them are probably stressed. People are having to work extra jobs or find jobs if they've lost jobs, so I don't want to become a burden. I want to make sure that I'm an asset to what we're doing as we deal with all this at the same time.
Have you been able to talk to any people in the Foley community that know that you're going to be the new head coach over at Foley High School for the boys varsity? Have any of those reach out to you and your family and congratulating you on the job and that they're going to help you out in any way that they can?
Yeah, there's been a handful that have reached out and congratulated me and said they were excited. And I ran into a couple, just kind of being in the area, with my wife, and everybody's been super nice and excited, and I think everybody's just as eager as I am. They're ready to get going, they're ready to get started, and I'm ready to see what kind of program that we can all create together. So I think there's a ton of community support down there. It's just a matter of me, putting faces with names. I've met people, but it's kind of sometimes it's over the phone or over social media. And that's a tough thing for me personally, just because I'm a face-to-face type person. I'll remember your face first. So I definitely want to look forward to meeting people and shaking hands or air fives if I have to. whatever it takes.
Well, Coach, like I said, congratulations on a new job. I'm very sure your wife, your family, your parents are definitely proud of you. I know definitely know they're gonna lose a good one, and we thank you for coming on to the network, man. And congratulations again, and good luck. And we'll be following you whenever the season starts with high school basketball here in the area.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it, Ron. I appreciate you asking me to be on and everything that you all do at Ball Down South for the local basketball community. And I look forward to seeing what we can do this season.
That's the new Foley head basketball coach for the Varsity boys, Jared Gilliland.